Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode, a special edition of the Author Spotlight. This is the Texas Black Expo Author Spotlight edition of the podcast. So I'm so excited to be with you all. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, June 8th through the 9th in Houston, Tejas, we will have the Author Spotlight partnering with the Texas Black Expo for the summer celebration, where over 20,000 people will come upon the city of Houston, and they will be able to get contact with authors, those who are in retail and other type of entrepreneur ventures, and be able to collaborate for masterminding, connecting, and elevating in their business. And speaking of one of the individuals who are going to bless us with their presence, we will have my girl, Sha Sparks. I'm just going to share a little bit before Sha comes on. Sha Sparks helps people gain confidence with her proven communication skills for having those real conversations that most people avoid having with others. She has been known to facilitate a breakthrough for her clients by peeling away the layers of their mindset, negative inner dialogue, and where fear stops them from living a life they want. Her clients have experienced a higher level of confidence that allows them to step out of their comfort zone and fully participate in life instead of getting stopped. As a result of personally overcoming multiple emotional, mental, physical, and professional setbacks, she learned numerous ways to keep moving forward. Her tenacity pushed through roadblocks that may have stopped others to positively impact her own life, those around her significantly. She has overcome abuse, addiction, being a bully and being bullied, anger issues, low self-worth, and depression. She is passionate about empowering others to overcome their obstacles through her coaching programs, book, and keynotes. And I'm going to add another S there, books, because it's more in the pipeline. We'll talk about that later on. But anyway, welcome to the show, Sha Sparks. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. And I'm like, who is that person he's talking about? But I guess that is me, but thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
That's definitely her and much more. I didn't even go through. Is there anything that I left out the bio, though, that you might want to bring up or that you think would be an asset to those who are tuned in?
Well, as not only just as written a book, I am working on, yes, as you said, more books. I'm also a speaker. I'm also a coach, and I am a host of a podcast called The Power of Investing in People.
And for those who follow the show in our program, and some of you might recall that Sha has been on our podcast on Tuesdays, the Self-Publishing 30 Days podcast, and that was a great episode. And quite a bit has changed for Sha since the last time that she was on the podcast. And so, Sha, if you don't mind, just share with the audience, some of the things that have happened in your life since the last show aired, with you being a first-time author.
Well, actually, I think it's been about a year and a half since we released the book. And since then, I am now a certified life coach. I am also a speaker, and I host a podcast. And all of that really stemmed from the first step being just writing a book and putting it out there and trusting the process.
Now, thank you so much for sharing that, Sha. But I want to go a little deeper on this particular podcast, and I want to go with the mindset, because you're similar to a new age Madonna. Oh. You might say, well, how is you a Madonna or whatnot? Because not just saying some of the accident Madonna has pulled over the years, but I mean by being able to reinvent yourself and not allowing what others think or not getting shackled to a career, and actually using your skills and talents to continue to improve people wherever you had a skill set. So I want you to share a little bit from you, from doing hair or being a stylist, that type of profession, to going doing the book, and then not being afraid to step into speaking and also now coaching, because any one of those areas you could have said, now, wait a minute, it's easy for me to do that because I can do hair. What I look like doing hair, and now all of a sudden I call myself being an author. Now, okay, it's great. You know, everybody has a story in them. I've heard Darren share that. Everyone has. This is the year for your new book. We get that part. But now all of a sudden I'm an author, but that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily supposed to speak. And with speaking, I'm not necessarily, wait a minute, people putting their life in my hands. They want to hear from me. Who am I to give advice? I'm going through my own thing. If I've got a past, or I got skeletons in my closet. So for those who are listening, please share with us, Shay, the mindset that you have to be able to overcome those roadblocks like we heard in your bio, to have the mental fortitude to press on and to be you in those different arenas.
Wow, what a great question. So I have been a hairstylist and had my own business for the last 11 years. Been a hairstylist for 20 years, and right, we won't give any secrets there, but quite a long time. And I really was very blessed to have such a large clientele that I get to share my life with as they share their lives with me. And over the years, I was in an abusive relationship. I suffered with anger. I suffered with depression. And my adult life and my childhood, I was a teenage alcoholic. I was a bully. I had been bullied. Because what it really boils down to is hurt people, right? And so as I just was like piecing all of these bits of learning moments together, because that's really what they are, right? You can call it your past or failures or whatever. Some people call it that. I focused on it as it wasn't a failure. It was really a bit of experience, and how I could take that and really create something new for myself, create a better life for myself, create a different, like you said before, a different mindset. And what was happening is I was really peeling away the layers of me, like we're an onion, right? And you peel away the layers to get to the inside stuff. And as I started to do that, I started to share with my clients. They're like, so what's new? And I'm like, oh my God, let me tell you. I learned this about myself. And they're like, wow, how did you do that? And this happened over and over again, year after year. And it's been 10 years as of tomorrow that I have been released and free from an abusive relationship. And what I found is that most people don't dive in. Most people don't take away. Most people don't go, okay, what is it that I need to learn so I don't do something like that again? And that was my main goal is, okay, what is it that I need to know about me so I make sure I never make that choice again? And that's the choice of drinking. That's the choice of showing my anger. That was the choice of allowing someone to abuse me and abusing back, right? Reacting back. There's all these different facets. And for me, what's so interesting is after just a few months, I would say maybe within 6 months of this peeling away the layers and learning, I had people come out of the woodwork that shared with me that they were in an abusive relationship and that they needed help. And I just started helping them and pulling them out. And what I did was really say to them what I wished someone had said to me. Yeah, and so what's so amazing is they completely changed their life. They completely changed the trajectory of their life just off of what I said, just of what I shared, just of what I had explained my situation. Again, a year or so goes by, and I had multiple people say, you have grown so much. Why don't you write a book? You have grown so much. Why don't you be a speaker? You have grown so much. You should be a life coach. Well, when people say that to you again and again, and those of you who are listening who have this experience that people say to you, you have a story, you have a book, you need to be a coach, you need to be a speaker, you need to listen. You really need to listen to them because you have something that you have figured out that the rest of the world doesn't know. And that's what's so interesting in this work that I've done and this work that I do is that we feel sometimes that we think everyone knows what we know. And the truth is, They don't. The truth is, unless we share it, they probably won't know. Right. And that's the most incredible gift about what I do, is really being able to share my experiences, and investing in myself actually overflows into invest in other people, which is how the podcast name came about. And what I talk about on the podcast is really about how other people have done the same thing, how other people have gone through some sort of obstacle, they've overcome it, they've just become this amazing force in their family, their community, where if you met me 10 years ago, I had such a wall built up and such a barrier built around me. I didn't even look like this. I looked like, you wouldn't have maybe not even noticed me before. I had low self-worth that I didn't even know where to begin. And so I just literally started by going to counseling, and everything else fell into place.
Hey, well, the world is noticing you now, Shay, because you got it going on, girl. You got it going on. And what I'm saying is because of the positivity. I mean, the woman can just step in a room, because, I mean, I don't want to get woo and lose people, but you attract the right vibes. I mean, it's just, period. You're going to attract the right people. I just want those in the audience, because Shay dropped some great information on us right then, and that was real about her story. But I just want to be real with you, just in case you might say, I don't identify with Shay, or Darren's bringing stuff up, I don't identify with him either. What they're talking about. I just want you to do some beta testing, just do some testing. And what I mean by that is just walk into a place and just have a frown on your face. Just notice how other people respond to you. If someone's if you're at a spot and someone's getting a plate to get something to eat or whatnot, or you had a networking event, and when they turn around and look at you, you'll notice that no matter how they were looking, you're gonna see a reflection of what you are and who you are, how you're looking back at you when they look at you. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I use that as a buffer to see where I'm at. I don't have to have the mirror in the car or whatnot to look. If I notice, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. If I came out of a meeting and I hadn't debriefed or whatnot and got myself where I'm out of that mode with dealing with team members or whatever, I was like, oh, let me get myself together, because I'm noticing that I'm getting something back that's not me. So evidently I must be giving out that type of energy. And so I just want you to do some beta testing, and then also try it where you just walk in the room, no matter how you're feeling, and just have a smile or a kind word, and see how far that'll go, and see what kind of response you will get. And so I'm looking at what Shay is sharing now, and it's hard for some of you all to believe this, because you're looking at this woman right here. You just think that she's always been there. That's what she's trying to get you to understand. Why am I taking time to go over something that she went over in detail? Because a lot of us are not getting the basics. So we keep waiting for this Aladdin type figure to show up, or I'm dating myself a little bit, or a bewitched character, Samantha. That's what I used to watch. It was just Nick at Night, y'all. That's how I knew. It was just Nick at Night. That's all it was, just for the record. But at the same time, you waiting on somebody to pull some magic out, and you're not understanding, like, why am I not getting that promotion? Why am I not having the type of relationship with people? Why do I feel like it could be even in a church setting? And, I feel like that I just don't belong. And it's easy for us to come up with the excuse game, and it's just everybody else but me. Then you notice that the common denominator in all these issues and all these places is you. It can't be everybody. Sooner or later, you got to look at yourself. It's like, now, wait a minute. Every place, every organization I join, I tend to fall out with everybody. Every job I'm on is me and somebody. Every church I go to is me and the common denominator is you.
So if I can interject.
Go ahead, Shay.
I love what you're saying. So, and you had mentioned going into a restaurant or a church. Just try going into your family. Just walk in the door of your house and see the response that you get. Do you get the, oh, honey, I'm so glad you're home? Or do you get the, oh, what's wrong? What's going on? Just by the look that you have on your face, right? And when you have this look on your face, your posture's bad, you know, you're looking down, there's a whole, everything about you, when you're in a negative mindset, really drags you down. And when you're in a positive mindset, your shoulders are back, you're open. And when you're open, just like I just did, open my shoulders, guess what opens? Your heart. And if your heart is open, your family is going to be able to respond to you better. Your family is going to be able to hear you better if your heart is open, rather than if you're having it closed off. What's interesting about what you said is we are a mirror. And if you think to yourself, okay, I am not getting the promotion, I'm not getting the relationship I want, there is a point where you think, I am what I'm attracting. So what is it that I'm attracting? Right? For instance, and here's another cool thing. First of all, when you go through work like this, the gift of sharing it is it helps other people heal. And in a family dynamic that I came from, I was the youngest and everybody was emotionally unavailable. What does that mean? It means that we didn't communicate. We didn't tell each other we loved each other. We didn't talk. We talked about how it was the car running, how good the game was. That's it. We didn't talk about things that were meaningful, which is why I do what I do now and help people really connect in a meaningful way, because so many times we avoid those conversations. So once I got healed, I would explain to my family and I would open up and I would be vulnerable. They changed. Mind blowing, okay? All I said to my brother was, if you have a look on your face, resting bee face, right? And he's walking into a job interview, he's not going to get the job. That's anybody. But if you walk in with a smile, it's totally different. He got the job. And not only did he get the job, his whole dynamic of his life changed, because he started to, once you smile, you start to feel better about yourself. Again, those shoulders start to roll back, the heart starts to open, you start to then attract people who are like you, who are smiling, who are also full of love, who are also able to communicate in a different way. So I love what you said and just wanted to touch base on that.
Man, hey, touch base all you want to. And I want y'all to say that. When somebody say that to you again, just say, I'm grinning because I'm winning. Say that with me. I'm grinning because I'm winning. You know, hey, you can talk about me all day. Oh, this guy's always grinning all the time. I'm grinning because I'm winning. See, that's the thing. That's the mindset that you got to have. You can't let someone give a negative connotation to something that you're doing that's positive. And, you know, and you notice that the people who are telling you that are the ones who are opposite of you, because, you know, misery loves company, and that's what they want to do. And, you know, and speaking of company, what would you say to Ms. Sparks about the importance of environment with this process that you have done? You know, and I want you to speak from the perspective of, it might not be just somebody in your town, or it could be. Share also the importance of like shows like this, podcast, or reading, or when you got an opportunity to go to a conference, or online connections and networks that you're able to make, that has also transitioned into you actually making physical contact and connection with people as well. So I want to explore the metamorphosis of the caterpillar to the butterfly of your environment, and connecting, utilizing that with your busy schedule with work, and still being able to connect with other individuals who are helping you go higher.
It's great. So it's really a chapter from my book. So if I believe it's Jim Rohn that says you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And you might think, okay, well, I'm just looking around the room and who am I around? But the reality is, it's not just in the room, it's who are you looking at, who are you researching. If you're watching TV, if you're watching reality TV, that's the people you're surrounding yourself with, right? If you're watching the news, that's the people you're surrounding yourself with. So for me, I knew that all I knew about business was what my dad had taught me. And I needed to know more because he wasn't as successful as I want to be. He was successful, but I wanted to like go above. So I really started to research online millionaires and billionaires. And you might say, why did you research millionaires and billionaires? Because someday I will be a millionaire and billionaire. I'm just putting it out there. And if I am to surround myself and learn from them, then I need to really understand what their mindset is, how they think. So one of the things I have people do is really think about who they admire, who inspires them. Really figure out like what kind of person they want to be, and then go research that person. And then write down their characteristics. Now the cool thing is, and I'll give you a sneak peek, but the cool thing is once they've written that down, what they really did, because of that we reflect what we see, we mirror who we are, they wrote down themselves, characteristics about themselves. But they don't see it because they're so used to just seeing themselves as this. They don't really see how just changing their mindset and just noticing and acknowledging that they are actually all these amazing things, inspirational and beautiful and intelligent and courageous. They're all these things too. They just don't really thought of themselves that way. So then that takes on a whole different mindset. So once you start thinking yourself that way, you start acting that way, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about thinking. You start to feel that way. And once you get into your feelings, and you start taking action. Once you start taking action, you look for other people that are on the same path as you. That's the great thing about the internet. That's the great thing about social media. That's the great thing about absolutely the world at our fingertips with our laptops and our phones these days. So you start researching, you start connecting, whether that's on, any social media literally any social media platform. Today, that's how I met Darren, was through Facebook. That's how I met my roommate, was through another Google Plus, another platform. I met so many amazing people just by communicating, just saying, hey, I love your posts, I love your stuff. I really want to get to know you. Let's have a call. Let's just talk and be friends. Oh my gosh. There's a thing that people forget how to do is be friends, because we're so focused on looking down, we forget to look up. Right? And so what's so amazing to me is when you connect and have a conversation with absolutely no agenda. Like I could sell you a million things, but that's not the point, right? I just want to have a conversation. I just want to connect. I just want to know who you are and let you know who I am. And let's just see how we can elevate each other. Because here's the thing that most people also don't understand is that you have to have support as you move up in life in order for you to go up to the next level. In order for you to succeed to whatever endeavor is next, you have to have the right support. So one of the things that you will notice as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, right, author, a coach, a speaker, whatever it is, even just in a job, as you move up, you have to ask yourself, what is it that no longer serves me? And unfortunately, sometimes it's people who have who are negative to you, people who aren't safe, people who you can't trust. I just had a client yesterday. We were talking about it, and it's not just her boss, it's also her sister, and it's her parents who are just feel like they're attacking her in a way that isn't serving her. And I said, well, the good thing is that they don't serve you. So you don't have to buy in to making everything about them. You don't have to tie into making everything that you're going through about them. You can just be cordial, right? You can have that surface relationship and you can still move forward because now you're going to see that in other people and choose differently. Where I think that's where a lot of people forget is that we have a choice who we have around us. We have a choice who we surround ourselves by. We have a choice.
I love this. I love this. I love this. You know, and see, this is what me and Shay do. Y'all just get. I shared that with her off air. That the world is just gonna be able to hear what we normally talk about anyway. And so this is just a normal conversation. This is serious, and I know that Shay can attest to this as well. Is that when we get together or if we're on the phone, whatever, it's just like. It's just value bombs going off. You know, it's just like boom, boom, boom. You just like, man, you start to put a hard hat on, duck, thinking that you get, you know, because it's just amazing when you get with people of kindred spirit and they got the right heart. And like she shared, that you're open because you've been through, it's no agenda. It's just great friendship. And you're looking at how can I hire you? How can I inspire you? Or how can I give you tangible steps to get to where you're trying to go? This is your goal. Okay, this is some things that I've learned. These are some connections that I've made to be a catalyst for you because we're connected that way. And I just want to go back because I just can't, when Shay get to dropping bombs, I got to go back a little bit so we can explore like Dora and, you know, and get a few of those gems that she dropped for us. And when I think about the connection and connecting with people online, and you know, being open, I just want to go to mindset again. And I know y'all saying like, Darren, here you go with mindset. But did you hear what she said? She shared, there's nothing wrong with the success that her father had, because he was able to have, you know, probably a success that his father didn't have, or a previous generation didn't get to have. And he did great maybe for that area or that city or that region that they were in. But there are levels, and she is desiring to go higher. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want you to think about this. Like we talked about walking into a room, a networking event, or with your family. Think about the mindset. She shared that she's studying millionaires and billionaires. Why? Because she is a millionaire. She has the capability of being a billionaire. Now, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with Shay at all. But it means that that's something that she's expecting. She's going to make moves because she's thinking it. She's getting emotional about it. She's taking actions to be around the right people. So now the same opportunity could be around Shay and another person. Shay will be able to be able to take advantage of that opportunity where somebody else wouldn't, not because of gender, not because of race, not because of you know, geographical location, not because of education. The reason why she was able to take advantage of that opportunity, that when it came, before once she knew it was an opportunity, when if you wasn't looking for it, you wouldn't even know that it was an opportunity. And so many people are walking around not seeing opportunity because they're not looking for opportunity. Now, I want y'all to think about that, what I just said. You're not seeing opportunity because you're not looking for opportunity. Because why? Just listen to yourself. You've already talked yourself out of it because guess what? You are afraid that thinking bigger was going to let you down. So it doesn't hurt. You have tricked yourself, deceived yourselves into believing that, you know what, if I don't think about it, then it's not real. So this is, I'm going to fix my mind on having a perception, and your perception is your reality. So I ain't going to get worried about all that kind of stuff like that. She talking about millions and billions. I don't need all that. I love the Lord. That's all I need. But don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But, and I'm just open this up for Shay real quick. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you need to pay bills. You see what I'm saying? At the same time, you need to do other things. So regardless of who you are, it's bigger than you. What about that family you could help feed? What about some of the people that might be caught up in sex trafficking that you could create a solution and create housing for? Whatever faith you're in, you could open up doors for ministry work or whatever it may be. So if you're saying that you are who you say you are and you're about helping, but then you don't need nothing, but then you see people that you feel like are not where you are as far as what you see need to be taken care of and they're just squandering money, wouldn't it make more sense for you to think in a certain way where you could be more helpful? Even if you didn't have the resource, you might could be able to write a grant or create some resource or something like that that can be able to help somebody. So Shay, please share what you think on some of the things that I just shared.
Well, again, I love our conversations because they literally just go amazing places. And so when you were talking, it made me think of this. So we all have experiences, we all have circumstances, situations, we all have a past, we all have a pain point, we all have trauma, right, that has happened to us. And that creates these blinders, is what I call them, that you go through life. So you're literally like with your head down, with the blinders on, you have no idea what surrounds you. You have no idea what's going on because you're just so focused on what happened. So when you take those blinders off, well, let me keep going. So when you have those blinders on, you start to think a different way. So I know that you talk on mindset, but it is really crucial because I'll give you the pattern of it. So the circumstance happened, it creates a mindset. The mindset creates how you feel about yourself, and your feelings is what drive your action. And the action is what drive your results. And I'm sorry, we have the ambulance going, the sirens going. So if your actions create your results and you aren't happy with those results, you want different results, then you have to do different things, right? So then if you don't want different results, great, keep going, no problem. Life is good. If you want something better, if you want to be greater, if you know that you have a purpose here to make a difference than what you already are, then you have to do different things in order to get different results. So then we reverse engineer it and think, okay, what are the results that I do want? How is that going to make me feel? What thoughts do I have to think? And what circumstances can come of that? So it's literally just taking what you just went through in the past and reversing it in order to, again, open that back up. So then when those circumstances happen, it's like you said, the opportunities. They literally come out of the word work, out of nowhere, drop from the sky, whatever law of attraction, whatever God blessings, whatever you want to call it. They literally show up when it's the time, when it's the right person, and it's over and over and over again. And if you aren't ready for new results, different results, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you are, just know it's coming. Just know there's steps to be taken to get there.
I love this. I love this. I love it. I love it. Thank you for giving us those tangible steps, practical, that you can implement right now. I mean, and I'm telling you, what she just shared, I'm intentional with that. I even do it in the morning. Before I even do anything in the morning, as soon as I get up or whatever, I automatically just start going through my mind of what I want to happen or how I view myself. Because see, if you don't, your mind, that old mind of yours will start coming up with who you owe, what happened, fear, so I have to take control immediately. Like, nope, this is what I'm focusing on. What I listen to immediately when I get up, I put the certain thing on. I have some, like I say, affirmation, confession. I got certain things that I have saved. So regardless if I'm moving around and my mind is in that state, I'm listening to stuff that I've already pre-recorded of my own voice is steady telling me who I am. You are abundance, you are this, you are, I'm going through every goal, the stuff, this, it's just manifesting. It's already happening, what I'm saying? But I'm just putting and then all of a sudden you start seeing as the day go by, you putting that in you, and then they say, this happened today. This happened today. You thinking to yourself like, what in the world? What is, but if I'll just cut on the news, heard about somebody just got molested, heard about somebody just 35 people were bombed, heard about this, right? I'm triggering myself the wrong way. And you don't want to do that. And speaking of not the wrong way, but thinking the right way, you brought up something about, your roommate. So I have to ask you, and then I'm going to explain to the audience a little bit more about this. What city or what location you in at this current interview. You know, just for the record, you know.
uh, so I have an apartment in a place in Washington, D.C. with my roommate. And I have a place in Kansas City. And right now I'm in Washington, D.C. Yeah.
Okay
Yeah.
then. Okay then. You know. Okay. All right then. All right. You know, not too bad. For old girl from the heartland. You know, not too bad. You know. So you know,
Grew up on a farm. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. There you go. There
Right.
you go.
Right.
I'm bringing this up because when we're talking about thoughts, then
Yes.
we talk about the belief. We talk about the actions. Now, let's see how this has happened. The proof is in the pudding, what we say down south. So now we're going to see how this evolved in the life of Sha Sparks. So Shay, if you don't mind, just give the audience a little synopsis, a little understanding, a little summary of how you ended up with 2 spots, but go back to the thought that you had, not knowing how. You don't have to know the how, but just get the thought. And go ahead and share that story with how you ended up with 2 different spots that you live in.
So this is such a fun story. So when I was in cosmetology school, so many years ago, people would ask me naturally, like, what do you want to do when you graduate? Where do you want to work? That type of thing. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but I have found myself where I open my mouth and words come out and then I get to read it like it's a cartoon, right? And I go, oh, I said that? Okay. And so I opened my mouth and what came out of my mouth was, I know that I want to work in the salon 3 weeks a month and 1 week a month somewhere else doing something else. I just don't know what that is yet. And over the course of my career, I've literally looked at opportunities to train in salons and teach in salons and work with product lines, all these different areas that I legitimately could do. And what was so amazing is that it didn't feel right. And when I say feel right, it's that emotion that kicks in of, is this something that I can be happy with in going forward? Meaning some of the product lines that I was offered, like literally they came to me because I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be an educator. And I was an educator, but not for a product line. They would say to me, what we need you to do is to endorse every single one of my products. Well, I can't lie to people knowing that I only like maybe 5 out of 20. Or I only like 10 out of 20. I can't lie. I'm not going to endorse them. And so I just kind of put that away. I put that thought away. And, you know, life happens. I was also, like I said before, in an abusive relationship. So I put that away, that thought. And during this 10 years of freedom, of uncovering myself, uncovering peeling the layers of the onion that we are, I thought, okay, what is it that I really want to do? What could be next? And I remembered that thought of, oh yeah, I said I wanted to live in another place and do something else. And now again, I'm still mindset, only thinking salon. And so I literally went on interviews, LA, San Diego, Chicago, Vegas, and Denver. None of it felt right. Turned every one of them down. It was just not the right opportunity. Again, you have to be aware, like Darren had said, you have to be aware of the right opportunity. And it just, like I said, it didn't feel right. And so I really started to dive into speaking and dive into creating the book and diving into creating the coach program that I have, the coaching program. And now that I have done that, and it wasn't even completely done, out of a connection that I had made on social media 5 years ago, we have become friends. She had asked me last year, she has an internet show on here in Washington, D.C., And she said, would you be my guest on the show called Creating Change? And I'm like, well, I'm definitely a change maker. So yes, let's do that. Let's do that. And I said, out of my mouth fell the words. I didn't hear it. I just saw it later. Do you want me in studio or in DC or in virtual? And she said, oh, you could come to DC? And I thought, what am I saying? I can't go to DC. What do I say? And then I went, wait, I could go to DC. I am my own boss. Yes, I could go to DC. And so I came to DC, and just, again, funny, I had the opportunity. I knew I had lots of connections here that I had met online, and I said, I'm just going to set up a meeting with every one of them and be able to build that friendship in person now instead of just online. What's interesting is that most people, when they travel somewhere, they're like, oh my gosh, did you see the monuments? Did you see this? Did you see that? No, I didn't. The first trip, nope, I was too busy just really connecting with people, just really making sure that we solidified our friendship, our connection, our relationship, or whatever that is. And I just had such a amazing awareness of joy, because that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to connect with people. And so my roommate now, I was on her show, and we had such a great time that when I came to doing my podcast and setting it up, I asked her to be my graphic designer. So she did my logo, and I interviewed her for my podcast as well. And 2 weeks later, when I aired our episode, she calls me and she's like, I am moving back to DC. She had moved away for a year. She said, I'm moving back. Would you be my roommate? And it's funny. We were just talking about this last night. She says, you just said yes. And I said, well, that's funny, because that's not what was happening inside. Inside was yes. And so I knew that that's where I needed to go. I knew that's the opportunity I needed to jump at. And so it literally, everything has fallen into place. And I now live in 2 different cities. I get to live a lifelong dream. And it's just amazing to be able to create whatever's next. So yeah, that's a long explanation to your question.
I think we might have something here. I might have to write that down. I get to live what I create next.
Yes.
Good Lord. I'm trying to tell you, hey, y'all can miss out on this if you want to. It's a buffet going on there. If you over there hungry, it's your fault. And I just want to make sure that you understand the importance of this. We're wrapping this show up just to have to give you a little behind the scenes with this great woman, this author, this entrepreneur, this everything. I'm gonna use my Southern vernacular. Everything. That's not proper English. We wouldn't edit. We got an editing department to edit better than that. But this is me. This is Darren just sharing with you of the importance of getting with the right people. If you want to be with the right people, if you want to get the right thoughts and start feeling the right emotions and taking the right actions, getting different results or whatnot, creating a new mental state, a new normal, then join us June 8th through the 9th in Houston, Texas, the George R. Brown Center. We will be downtown Houston. Even though the Rockets didn't do too well or whatnot against Golden State, we're not going to hold that against the city. But at the same time, we want you to join us because we do have a Rocket, a person that is blasting off in their personal life by the name of Sha Sparks. That will be there. She has some gifts that she will be sharing. And the gifts will be her speaking. She will be a part of a panel. She will be able to do some speaking, period, in the author spotlight area. Also, she will have 2 days on the main stage as well, where she will be a part of an expert panel, and we'll be discussing different topics and things of that sort. You'll be able to hear more of content like this and more in depth by being in Houston. So we want you to come there, connect with her. She has a few books that, get on why you can. We're not going to tell you how many she got, but if you're able to be one who can get there and purchase them while you can, I guarantee that you will be pleased. And if you don't mind, Shay, before we wrap the show up, could you please give them information where they can learn about the podcast, connect with you on social, any website, anything that you have that you want to share? Please share it at this time.
Yes, so I am actually, because of all this new success that's coming my way, I'm actually revamping everything. So I will give you a website and my social media. However, the best place to find me is Facebook, and it's on Sha Sparks is my business page. I do have a bio there, and I do post my podcast links on there on Spotify. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Sha Sparks, and Instagram as I am Sha Sparks. The other thing is my website, if you want to know more about my coaching, is called sparksofhope.co, not com. So you're going to want to erase the M, and .co. However, if you want to just really connect and have a conversation, the best place is to just message me on Facebook, and let's connect. Let's see how we can help each other.
Awesome, awesome. I'm telling you, I know y'all feel like I do. Darren, you had to cut the show off. Hey, I'm telling you, hours went by pretty much, and it just felt like we just got started. That's how it is when I get with my girl Shay. Join us June 8th and 9th in Houston, Tejas for the Texas Black Expo Author Spotlight. Over 20,000 people will be in town, not including the people that will be in Houston alone. We got authors coming from across the globe, plus you were able to connect with other entrepreneurs. If you say, I want to get with the right people, you got experts, podcasters, hosts. You got, some who are award-winning authors and write scripts that will be there. I mean, I'm just sharing a little bit. You got those who are in health. Some of the top health people in the world will be there, and they'll be having Zumba training and all that. They will have live concerts. So of course, come for the author spotlight, but it will be tons of networking, connecting. Next thing you know, you might be staying in two cities like Shay. You never know. You never know. You might be in two different countries. Who knows what? There's no limits in this thing. Whatever you're thinking about that you can achieve. But I want to thank you, Shay, for coming on. We'll have all that information in our show notes, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you, my friend, in Houston, June 8th through the 9th. Thank you again for coming on the Author Spotlight special edition for the Texas Black Expo Author Spotlight.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited to see you again and have this 3-minute conversation. I know it's longer than that, but it seems like it's 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. 3 minutes. It's all in the mind. 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 So thank you, Shay, so much. For those who are tuned in, remember, this is the year for your new book. We'll see you in Houston, Texas.